so we can record this. Ooh, all in. What are we fighting for? As you're dropping your ranks that you're fighting for, I want to hear an I am affirmation that you truly believe. Like you feel it when you say it. I want to hear it. Okay. Okay. Let's keep these going. There's more than 20 people dropping, so let's keep going. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, this energy, I'm confident, I'm worthy, I'm a leader, I'm an 80K, I'm capable. Okay, do you feel that? Do you feel the energy when you speak around people that get the same vision? Just all of us on this Zoom right now, we're all speaking it out, right? So I'm going to talk about a couple things. He changes times and seasons. He disposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness and what light dwells within, and think and praise in every action. You have given me wisdom and power. You have made me known, and this is the time. That is Daniel 2:21. He raises up in his timing. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of doing all the things, because when you are fighting for these things, I want you to reflect. And this is the only time I ever have my team or anyone look backwards, because you aren't backwards, so you shouldn't be looking that way. That's not something you should be comparing your journey to. That's not something you should be focusing on, but reflect. Does this month reflect the way that you would like it to reflect? Not on the circumstances, not on the situations, not on all the life, because babes, we don't control that. We control the intention. We can control the frequency of our energy, meaning like the vibe we put out, the confidence we put out, the mindset, the joy. And honestly, it's not even about confidence, and it's not even about all that. It's about the joy. What is the joy that you're putting out every day? What is the gratitude that you're finding through it every day? Because those things compound. And when you're compounding those things, guess what? Your actions start to compound, because you know, no matter what is going on around you, your joy will come, and you will keep going, and you'll keep growing, and you'll go through what you go through. Okay? And so I'm going to quote a couple of my 40K leaders, because I told them I was doing this, and I think it's really important, because I'm like, hey, so what do you guys see that your team needs help in? Because obviously as a leader, my job is to serve you guys from behind, to not lead from the front, but to serve you guys from behind. And that means understanding in areas what you're going through, maybe that you're scared to talk about or ask or need help with, or maybe there's areas that you know deep down you're not doing, but it's not, maybe a different perspective or a different wording will help you see it to make you actually start showing up differently for it. So the two things that hang on one second, that I asked them was, wherever it went. I love how I'm all prepared, and then when I'm not, it goes away. Okay, first one, I'm not going to name names on which leaders, but these are my 40K and above leaders that are saying this, okay? I think a lot of people cheat behind the scenes when it comes to the work, when in reality, that's the most important. The next one, I feel like a lot of people just do the things to check it off as a list, but they're not actually putting the intention. Oh, there's people in the weight room. There's not actually putting an intention behind the scenes. So let me talk about those two things. We can easily, sorry, I had like 6,000 people in the weight room. We could easily go in and put our stories up every single day and just do a boomerang, a quick little boomerang, and check stories. Got my 3 steps in, check, 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 check. Okay. But then I hear, well, I feel like I'm being rigorous. I'm doing the same thing over and over, and it doesn't look different. I'm afraid my audience is just going to get annoyed, and like they're posting the same thing over and over and over. Like, it's not exciting. Well, there you go, boo. You answered your own dilemma. If you feel like you're bored with your own stories, you need to switch it up. I put my products in my stories every single morning. And I don't give a jack crap what someone has to think. I put it up the way that my heart's pulling me to post it. So right now I'm on a slow motion video kick lately. And that's what I like to do. And that's fine because that's my vibe in this season. There's times that I'll put face to face and do me on a self recorder because guess what? Instagram allows that feature. It's called hands free. Swipe up, hands free. It's right there. And you can literally talk about your 3 steps in your stories. You can even put screenshots of the product ingredients. If you put like swipe up, there's a little picture option and put it right there too. Or you can do unfolds, or you can do face to face. Stop it. You can do boomerangs. You can do different things to talk about the same thing concept wise. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're saying, hey, it's rigorous to do the same thing over and over, I'm worried about my audience getting bored, then that's because you're not getting creative. Before consuming, you need to start creating. Okay, before getting on your social media and comparing to what all the other leaders are posting and all the other people are doing and all the other things, what's on your heart to do? But you need to be doing it. And this is where, now I'm going to talk about the mindset piece about it, okay? The intention behind it. If you're just doing it to check it off of your income producing activity list, and that's like, oh, I did one of my IPAs for the day. You got to realize that
hey, Britt, sorry to interrupt you, honey. We have people in the waiting room.
No, we don't.
We don't? Okay, never mind. Sorry, continue. My bad.
So when it comes to that, you have to realize, be intentional with the content then. Be creative with that. When you're wanting to like get into a different vibe or a different frequency or a different confidence, do you want to know the number one thing I teach my team to do? Create. If you don't have a preset, go learn how to do a preset. That will boost your confidence up 1000%. Because guess what? You learned how to do it, and now your social media is going to look a little different, and that vibe's going to change. If you don't know how to do maybe like the highlighted like Instagram op stories like Lindsay does, ask and then go create it, go do it, go copy, not copy, but go make your own, go get inspired action from what you're seeing others do. The other thing is the importance of doing all the things. Every single day, my business, and I know all my leadership, every person that you hear, we talk about this consistency, discipline, routine. What does that look like for you? What's your routine look like in the morning? Because business is not just checking off all your income producing activities. Business is also having a clear vision on how your week's gonna go, how your day's gonna go. Not only that, the intention of what you're wanting to put out. We are paid storytellers. Do you know your story? Do you share your story? Do you talk about how the products make you feel? Not only that, are you only talking about business and product? Are you sharing your life? Are you talking about why you wanted more? What was your pivotal moment? What was that moment that made you decide enough was enough? Paint a picture. Bring value to what you're putting out, because the more that you're putting out intention and value, the more people are going to flock. It's kind of like what me and Katie were talking about in that training we did on getting people in your inbox. This goes hand in hand, because we can easily say, hey, we're doing all the things, but if you're just checking off boxes, then you're not doing all the things, because there's a mindset piece missing then. Do you get what I'm saying? Or some of you, and this is something I struggled with in the very beginning parts of network marketing, is I wasn't consistent with showing my products in my stories. Okay, you may be taking them every single day, that's cool, but your audience doesn't know that. And if you're not putting them in, I like had a quote like Rebecca, because she had voice messaged that, like, because it's true, like, if you may be being the most consistent person with your products, but if you aren't showing that and showing that passion, showing that confidence, and it doesn't have to be the same thing every single day, but if you aren't showing that, people see that stuff. Like, I'm going to use a leader that just recently came back, and I love her to death. She was on fire, and then she went through life, right? We all have different lives, we all have different paths, and that's what I love about this business. It doesn't discriminate. You can literally go through things and then come back and have the biggest comeback. It doesn't matter. Or you can persevere for 3 years and be maintaining at 4K for 3 years and all of a sudden go 40K. I've seen it happen, and you know who I'm talking about when I say these things. So my point is, it's about understanding. It's about showing from the front the passion of the little things that are so important, that we don't realize that are so important. Like, if I didn't show up in my stories for a day and I only put it up in my steps, I guarantee you I'd probably have like 20 messages from you guys asking if I was okay. I promise you, because hello, you watch my stories, you see what I put in them. I show my products. I probably am either doing a customer, because how I do my stories, I either do like product based one time and then opportunity based the next day, and then kind of life and like face to face and a little bit more. Like, I switch it up so I'm not constantly having to work harder, but I'm working smarter, right? But I'm also showing my life throughout my day. I'm showing I'm a human. I'm showing I'm not just business, product, business, product. And I've actually been showing Nick and Kingston more because they're a hot mess and I'm sick of hiding them because I have to deal with it all. So y'all gonna deal with how they are all the time too. But it causes people to be engaged. It causes people to grow with me wherever I'm at. So wherever you're at, use your story. Beck, do you have anything to piggyback off of that? Because I know that you did.
I just think that, like, I think you have to stop thinking about it so much. You have to stop worrying about what this person or that person's gonna think. Like, you hit the promoter button and you decided to join this business to change your life. I have a few promoters, I'm not gonna say names, but they don't post their steps in their story every day. And it's their business, and I try to help them overcome that fear. But you're taking your steps every single day. You know what they make you feel like every single day. How do you expect somebody to buy from you or to join you if they don't even see that you're taking these products consistently? I know that I probably wouldn't. And the other thing is too, you know, if you're trying to build a team, the number one thing that you need to be is consistent, you guys. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and said, thank you for being so consistent. That's why I joined you. So if you're not enrolling customers and you're not enrolling promoters, you need to ask yourself if you're being consistent, because it is key.
I absolutely love that, because here's the thing. I am very consistent, but there is disconnects within my business because I wasn't being intentional within my mindset around the things I was doing. So what I want to share on that is, if you are, and this is even outside of bonus season, I don't give a jack crap about bonuses, because bonuses aren't going to make or break your business, babes. Like, I had to, and I'm saying that with so much love, because some of you guys are giving up because, oh, you didn't have the bonus. And like, at the end of the day, then you don't want it bad enough. You don't want change bad enough. And I will be that leader that will say that, because that is my heart. And my heart is to serve you, to change, not to stay stuck in your crap. And so at the end of the day, how bad do you freaking want change? Because this isn't about this next 6 months. This is about the next 10 years. Let me let that sink in for a second. This is not just about the next 10, like, you could go Uber or DoorDash if you're so worried about the next week, honestly. And I'm saying that because I've seen it where people aren't being authentic behind the scenes and intentional behind the scenes, and they're just doing the bare minimum to act like they are. And this is where integrity and intentional inspired action comes into play. So I wanted to read something really quick. We get frustrated when we spend days, weeks, and months putting in hard, unseen work for what we assume was gifted to someone else, but when we never take the time to hear their story. Have you ever wondered if they worked hard and unseen for years? how they suffered before they succeeded, how their faith grew, or how God answered their prayers, or how he hasn't even responded to some of them yet. Now, the next part is, I don't want to miss out on sharing my story because I'm so consumed about overthinking my story. You're the only person that knows your story. I had a girl that was like, I don't know what to say on a live. And I'm like, you don't know your story, you don't know your journey, you don't know why you're here, you don't know how you feel. And I expect you to be live in 10 minutes. And guess what? She did it. Hot mess, twins, didn't want to, but I was like, I'm looking and I'm watching because you said you haven't been live at all. And yet you're telling me you don't know what to talk about. So now is your time. Because if you want to grow, babe, you got to get uncomfortable. So if you're not pushing that button, you need to push the dang button. I'm trying not to cuss. I'm really working on this. So like when it comes to it, are you doing the dang thing that you keep avoiding? Because this is one of my quotes that if you're on my team, I say this quite a bit. The things that you're avoiding are attached to your breakthroughs and your blessings. So if you want to know what you need to focus on, write down a list of what you're avoiding in your business and in your personal life and in your growth. There's your key. There's your secret sauce. There's the things. Because you can't expect the bare minimum and then expect $1,000 a week paychecks or to hit the next rank. Some of you guys want to go 80K. Some of you want to go 40K. Some of you want to go 12K. Some of you want to go 4K. But are you leading the way that leader does if you saw them in that rank? Have you been live? If you're trying to go 12K as a leader, are you going live in Hustle? Are you leading work with me's? Are you doing opportunity events? Are you training in the team pages? Because I can guarantee you, I'll use Jordan as an example. She does. And she was doing that before she was a 12K leader. She mimicked what other leaders did and made it her own. But she showed up uncomfortably. Do you get what I'm saying? Because some of us, we want the things, but are we doing the things? Are we doing the bare minimum? Because it's the intention behind the scenes what gives the results in the front. Not just posting, not just doing like, oh, I put a post up today, I did a reel today, I did my stories today. Okay, cool. Now what's your behind the scene look like? Because if you think that's doing your IPAs, you aren't even scratching the surface. What's your messenger look like? What's it look like? If I went into your messenger, would I see 2 conversations today and only like maybe 1 yesterday? And then, because it tells you when you last had your conversation. So if you want to self-reflect on what you aren't doing, what's your inbox look like? Some of you are more worried about going out on a Friday night and drinking than building a future for your family. There, I said it. And I mean, we aren't the same then. Because you know what? When I was in seasons where I knew my future was on the line and this is make it or break it time, guess what I stopped? I told my husband, you can go out without me. I'm not going out anymore. My mindset doesn't need to be filled with temporary things. It needs to be filled with what's going to build me in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I'm talking about investments, stocks, buying like future generational wealth for my family, not where can I go get my next Budweiser and who's doing this and who's doing that. What conversations do you have behind the scenes? What's your circle look like? What's your mindset look like? What's your vision look like? What is your relationship look like? Because if you're in a relationship, am I frozen? I feel like I'm frozen because everyone's frozen except for me. So let me know, because hopefully I can see in the comments. If you are wanting change and you're wanting more and you're wanting growth and you're wanting your vision to match what you say, because we can talk about where we're all going to go, right? We can all say, I want to do this, this, and this. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay. Now let your actions be louder than your words. I'm red tonight. You guys, let me put this into perspective. I didn't have to show up on this tonight. I could have been like, hey, here's another leader. I'll assign this to one of my leaders. I have already maintained my 200K and it's the 25th of the month. Like I could be easily just like, I'm gonna sit back and ride my team and do whatever I want. But if that's what you're doing right now, that will reflect in a year. That will reflect in 6 months. That will reflect in 3 months. If you are a leader and you aren't leading from the front and posting and doing the things that you're supposed to, but then you're trying to tell your team to show up and you're trying to tell your team to get consistent, hi, hello, that does not make sense. Like, where's your mind at? You got to walk it like you talk it, and where's your integrity? I am really big on integrity because honestly, I used to be such a freaking asshole. And I'm going to say that because I didn't walk it like I talk it. I was a mean girl. I was a popular girl in high school. I was all the things, but I was also friends with everyone. And then I had to start realizing, what is my first response to things? It's not maybe what I'm trying to change. What is my first response to, sorry, my computer's dying. What is my first response to how I look at things or look at people or look at circumstances or look at situations that are coming up in my life? How am I looking? Am I judging? Am I gossiping? Am I like going out more than I'm developing my mind? Am I listening to rap music or whatever music more than I'm filling my cup? Am I touching my phone before I do my morning routine? And I don't care what your morning routine is. I need you guys to understand this. And this is something that took me such a long time because I was very stubborn and hard-headed. If you aren't waking up before your children and you're not waking up and having a morning routine at the same time every single day, you need to. And I'm not just saying that because I got hard on myself. I slept until 7:30 today, or no, 7 today, and then 8:30 yesterday. I was like, my life is like completely upside in shambles because I never sleep in that late. And I was like, what just happened? I feel like I just failed my whole day. But then I had to retrain that too, because guess what? There's grace in the gaps. So you can have hard days, you can have moments, you can have all that, but what's your pattern? If your pattern's not getting into routine, your pattern's not doing self-development consistently in the morning before all the things, and you're not having private time alone, that's your first step. The second step is stop trying to do the bare minimum to get by. Your bare minimum is going to cost you Hobby Lobby income, and the hobbies cost you money. And if you want like free product credit and that's all you are here for, this is something that Lindsay had to help me word to my team, because I'd be like, I don't get why people are only here for just that. Like, I don't understand. Because I feel like as you hit these goals, your vision should grow. Your hunger should grow. Your change should grow. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not everyone and I can't put my expectations on everyone. So if that is what you're here for, then cool. But then don't act like you want more and get mad on Tuesdays. I'm trying to say this in the right way. Don't get mad on Tuesdays when your checks reflect what you said you only wanted to work up to. And so here's the thing. Last thing, I promise I'm going to read this. Holy hustle. All or nothing. I don't want to be the kind of woman who strives unnecessarily toward my agenda. I don't want sleepless nights or endless stress, but I do want to work as hard as I can on whatever God gives me to do. There's something beautiful and holy and redeeming about the kind of work where our titles, our positions are not for our own personal glory, but to magnify God in the spheres of influence He has placed us in. Can you guys soak that in? Katie got me hooked on this book and I can't put it down. It's called Holy Hustle. Everyone needs to read it. It's amazing. Because I'm a hard worker, but I also need rest, okay? Maybe yours is the backwards way. Maybe you're not a hard worker and you're always resting and you need to work. Whatever it is, find that pattern and do different with it, okay? So what I want us to do, and I'm not going to be super long, and Beck, if you wanted to piggyback, you know you can always interrupt me because I talk all the time. I'm like, all the time. Okay, so I want to challenge you guys to do a couple things for me tonight, okay? Because I don't want to make this long. Passion isn't pushy. I want you to write that down. Passion is not pushy. Passion is not pushy, okay? Are you putting out the content that you respect and would want to follow? Are you putting out content and value that serves others, that pulls on the heartstrings? Go through your social media tonight, okay? And I want you to look at the last 2 weeks of post. 2 weeks. I'm not gonna have you go back the whole month because this is not about being hard on yourself. This is not about beating yourself up if you were not consistent. This is not this. And if that is where you go with it, you need to rebuke the spirit of shame and guilt away from you, because that is not truth. That's not fact. That's not truth. Those are lies that you're telling yourself to make yourself feel okay for why. And you have to move differently and realize your mind is okay. You're allowed to have days. You're allowed to pick yourself up and do different the next week. But let's reflect on what it looked like before so you can provide a different type of intention to the coming future, okay? So reflect. Did you show up consistently every single day and post at least once? I post once a day on like on Instagram, I post once a day. Sometimes I'll throw up a reel. On Facebook, I've been posting twice a day because I've been building up my algorithm a little bit better, okay? So I'm not doing a training on that. I'm not going in all that. But what I'm asking is, okay, first off, are you posting every single day at least once? Sometimes if you have a post, you guys, and this is where you need to listen on this part, if you have posted and it's getting a lot of engagement and it's still like within 24 hours, write it out then, okay? You don't have to slap out a post just to get a post up if you're still getting engagement on a really good post. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you're putting out that value and that post is within the 24 hours, you literally, and I'm talking about like engagement, comments, likes, and also, are you giving comments and likes? Not just emojis. Emojis is not engagement. If you're putting in emojis on people's like posts, that is not engagement at all, and you're defeating the whole entire purpose. So you've been doing not the best. It's working not hard. You need to work smarter, not harder. So when it comes to that, more than 4 words and being genuine on commenting, and do that before you post as well. Just a tip. Go through and engage before you put up. Remember, give before you receive. Think of that. Give before you receive, okay? So first off, have you posted every single day? And if you have you posted on Facebook and Instagram? That's the second thing, because a lot of you guys aren't utilizing both platforms, and all you're doing is doing half the work, and that's not going to get you anywhere. That's just me being honest, okay? So second thing is, I repurpose content, and I'm going to talk about this in this because I was talking to one of my girls about this. If I put a post up on Facebook a day ago and I didn't use that picture and I didn't use that caption, I'll use it on Instagram the next day. So then I'm not working harder, I'm working smarter. I repurpose it. But then I'm always posting on both platforms in the same day. I'm always posting on Facebook and I'm always posting on Instagram. If you guys start studying it, sometimes I'm not posting the same picture or the same caption. I'm posting on Instagram a caption and a post that I may have used like 3 days ago on Facebook. Do you get what I'm saying? I find a system, but I repurpose it because it's 2 different audiences. Harder, not smart, smarter, not harder, okay? The second thing is, if you're not utilizing both platforms and then you're trying to go to the next rank, you gotta realize this is a part of it. Social media, not just one platform. The other thing is, look at your number this week of your followers. Okay, I want you guys to reflect. Write down the number of what your followers are this week, today, tonight, whatever it is, right? Now, if it's not gone up or you have not followed people and people aren't following you, for example, you'll know by the end of next week on Sunday if you're engaging and growing your network. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if you're not adding and unfollowing and growing your network every single day, then you're not doing all the things. Okay. The next thing, I want you to reflect on, are you going into groups, building friendships, going and commenting on stories, going engaging in stories, going and talking to people? Because fortune's in the follow-up and fortune's in your conversations. This is why I said, if your inbox is not like had any conversations today, then you can't get mad at what you're not giving effort to. If I have girls that tell me, like, I've been talking to I have 3 girls that signed up like 3 weeks ago, and I'll talk about that too. I'm glad you reminded me on that. I had a few girls say, like, hey, I have girls that are like not showing up and like I've messaged them, but they don't respond to me right away, or they don't even act like they really want this. Then why are you chasing them? Get out there and get into conversations and find new blood. And I say it like that because there's new lives out there that need what we have. And if someone's not hungry enough to ask questions or to stay connected or show up in the chats and to ask and be close to the fire, then you can only do so much. You can lead a horse to the water. You can't make them drink the water. And so reels, let me talk about that, because you guys, I don't need you to look at my Instagram followers and think that is like the thing, okay? It does not. I had literally like less than 1,000 followers when I first started this industry. Like less than 1,000 followers when I first started this industry, okay? And I still was a top leader in my other company with less than 1,000 followers. It's not about followers, okay? It's about the people you're following. Let me talk about this, okay? What's your brand? What's your brand? I need you guys to put in the comments, what is my brand? Because I know you guys probably will have some things to say. So put it in the comments, because I'm going to talk about it for a reason. And I want to share with you guys on this, okay? And it ties into the reels, I promise. I'm waiting, mindset, okay, love. Yes, I'm claiming that, Sue. Big family. Okay, love that you're saying these things. So when you go to my page, do you see that content kind of put out? Right? Like you see me niching around all that. You see me niching around my location, my color palette, which is like tans and blacks and things. Like, so you see my colors on my profile around the same. You see me at the gym, even though I'm not like the most like fitted, I'm like fittish. So even though I'm not like the most ripped person, I'm still in the gym and I'm still showing a healthy lifestyle. I'm still showing layers of this. So let's peel back this, okay? So I'm a podcaster. People know that. I have people that follow me that are in different companies because of my podcast. So when I put out reels, let's talk about this. I'm peeling back. This is one part of my brand, okay? So podcasting. When I take this brand, I can use this in different ways. I can put out Canva quotes on my stories or in my timeline. I can post quotes that I use, right? That's a part of my brand, mindset, quotes, positive inspiration, right? I can make reels that are targeted around mindset, which you guys, if you go to my page, you'll see. I have reels that are targeted around mindset. I can talk about, hey, I can use this training, for example, and put it over on my podcast and repurpose it and share value to other people that are in network marketing. There's different layers that I can peel back from just one little niche. So let's talk about ex-teen mom, because I think that's a lot. Like we're either one of us or some of us have been either a teen mom or knows a teen mom. I can use that for my benefit, right? So now let's talk about that. That's why I'm showing Kingston. I promise this is not my middle finger. That's why I'm showing Kingston more, the teenager aspect. Like the other day, if you saw my stories, he's like, Mom, why are you recording this? I put it up there anyways. I didn't care. Like, what are you gonna do? Like hunt me down? No, like I pay your bills. So here's the thing. I show him, I show my husband, I show all these things around like teen mom. Oh my God, what am I doing? I don't know how to raise a teenager right now because I'm only 30 and I have a 13-year-old that's gonna be 14 that acts like he's 25. So it's hard. There's moms out there that get this. Hello, because I see heads nodding. That's a layer. Do you know, I have a girl that's raising a 2-year-old, and I haven't raised a 2-year-old in like forever, but I was giving her advice on incorporating it around her brand because she's having a very, very hard time, like trying to run mom life and then do all the things. So I'm like, involve them, help them make the shake in the morning, help them do gratitude and show it, help them freaking do whatever, show whatever. Stop making it harder, make it easier. Involve your children along the process. My kid has been a part of network marketing since I was 20. How old am I? 25. I'm like, how old? So 25 is when I started network marketing. And he was, God, I'm horrible at math. I think he was like 6. I don't know. I don't know what he was. He was somewhere in there, right? Young. And he knew, like, mommy, I need pictures. And I would bribe him, hey, I'll take you and get an ice cream from McDonald's. I don't know. Like, or like, take some pictures for me, or let's do this live together. I want to hear something. Or I'd make, even back in the day, because this was during like when TikTok wasn't TikTok, it was like a something different back in the day. Some of you might know what I'm talking about, but you would just record and we would do funny videos like that before TikTok was a thing. Like now I incorporate things with him. He doesn't like to do it all the time, but I still do it, right? So this is where you take your brand and you peel layers from your brand. So stop saying you don't know what to post. Stop putting mindset crap out there if your mindset isn't on point. And I'm saying this with love. I'm saying this with so much love because it's not about faking it till you make it. It's about sharing what you're struggling with so that you can overcome it with your audience as well. Some of you guys act like your mindset's on point, but behind the scenes, I know how you really are, baby girl. Because I help you through it because I'm your leader and that's what I do. But your audience has no idea what's going on. Do you see what I'm saying? You want to know where the disconnect is? Do you get it? Do you get what I'm saying? Because I need to see heads. I need to see energy. I need to see understanding. Because the disconnect is you're not being authentically you. It's not about sharing your dirty laundry. Like, oh my God, I'm like, blah, 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 and all your dirty laundry. No. When I was going through a divorce, when I was in network marketing, I didn't share about it. No one knew I was divorced until I was with Nick. No, I'm just kidding. No one knew it. That's not how it went. Let me just make sure that's really clear. That is not the timeline that happened. But that is like, I didn't talk about it, but they saw me in the gym. They saw me talking about how I was going through a hard time. They knew that I was struggling and I was honest with my audience. Hey guys, I'm going through some really hard things right now that I'm not ready to share yet. But when I am, you'll know. But this is why I'm here, is to help you guys understand it's okay. And you're not alone. And if you're going through hard things, I am as well. Let's connect. Do you see how I just did an opportunity post with my struggle? Like, which I wish I would have got this stuff like 5 years ago, because who knows where I would have been. But I'm like, there is purpose in the process. Write that down. There is purpose in the process. So Sundays are my Sabbath day. Sundays are like the day that I rest for half of the day, and then I do my little like meetings at night, and that's great. And honestly, you guys, I haven't enrolled anyone in like probably like 4 or 5, like for me, that's a long time, 4 or 5 days, right? And so I was like, you know what? And I'm going to talk about this part. Let go and let God, right? So what is the things that I'm not letting go and letting God in? What are the things that I'm trying to control in? What are the things that I'm like trying to put my expectation on or my vision on instead of showing up for it and being obedient? I don't know if you guys caught Stephen Furtick's church service this morning. If you haven't, you need to read it. You need to listen to it, because it's about being obedient even when you don't see the reward. And that's when the stewardship happens, because when you are obedient before you see the reward, you start to grow and develop differently. And then guess what? You start acting the way you say you are showing up. You start aligning your vision to your focus. You start moving mountains. You start changing lives, and you start operating in bliss and happiness and joy and gratitude. Because the more you let go and let God, or I'm not even going to go there. The more you let go and let God, the more he shows up for you and makes ways. And so the point of that is, Like, I've enrolled 5 people, but those 5 people today is people that I've talked to for either a year to 3 months to maybe a couple days. Because the other thing is, because I'm putting content out there that's building my network like crazy. If you go to my reels are not business really. But if you go to my reels, you'll see views. And the reason why is because I put out one, let me talk about this. Back on I think it was November, when I first moved into this house, I put out one freaking reel that was like, I don't like to work. I don't believe in a job, or what, I don't even know what it was, but it was funny and it went viral. One, right? And because of that, I kept putting out reels like every couple of days, right? I would put out a reel and then it would start getting engagement because that first one was still getting engagement. So then people were starting to see that. And then it kept compounding because I kept putting out different content that was building value. And now my Instagram at this point, and it's just in the season because I know I have to put the work in still. I can't just ride out different things, but I have my audience is growing authentically because my reels are all going freaking crazy right now. And that's not a bad thing. I don't want it happening because I have so much people in my inbox and so many people being mean. I feel bad for people that the more they have celebrity, like I've been called this, that, like I have it all going on because the more to whom much is given, much is required. Because guess what? Just because my audience is growing, you want to know how much hate I have coming in my inbox or people commenting and saying mean things? And honestly, I am so thankful because I have the skin and the heart to be like, this is even more what I want to do. Because there's so many people that are hurting behind the scenes that if I keep showing up as me and being authentic and not letting, some of you guys like, you quit over that stuff. You let it make your whole day like crap. You got called half the stuff of what I've seen lately. And it's like, who freaking cares? Hurt people. If you're letting your in-laws, I know this is all trading that's all over the place, but if you're letting like your in-laws, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your baby daddy, your friend, whatever, define what you bring to the table every single day. Let me repeat that. Define what you bring to the table every single day. How does that even make sense? When we really think about it, when you really think about it, how do you let someone else's opinion of you or someone else's interpretation of what you're doing or someone else's whatever define what your vision is in your heart and what actions and mindset you bring to your day? Why? Why does it have so much control over you? And this is the work that I'm talking about behind the scenes. Do you see how I loop that all back into one nice little package? Because this is what it comes down to. We can act like we're doing all the things, right? But when there's a lot of disconnects in a lot of areas, there's not going to be intention behind all the things. So what are you not facing that you keep holding and hoping and wishing and praying that will change? But when God's like, dude, I gave you everything you need to change, why aren't you owning it? You can't get mad at what you're not giving effort to or facing. So where's your focus today? Because Sundays are my day of rest. I will say that, okay? And it's hard, believe me, is like the hardest thing in the world to not like do any. I kind of rested. I'm like, I see back in there. I mean, I only answered to people who were trying to enroll. That was the only thing I did. And posted on my stories and all the other things. Anyways, so my resting is not like doing all the things. So do you want to know what my schedule looks like, right? I wake up between 6 to 5:30. And I'm not hard on myself about that. I give myself that little gap, 5:30 to 6. That's my time, okay? That's what works for me. I don't have a schedule like some of you guys, right? So if you're working, when I was working full time, I was waking up at 4:30 because I had to be to work at 7. and I had to drop off Kingston to school at 6 o'clock in the morning for childcare. Okay, so I hear you guys say, hey, I'm working full time. Well, guess what? So did I. So what's the difference? I had a girl in my inbox that's on our team, and she's like, well, how do you make time? I chose it. I freaking chose it. You make time for what you make priority to. I was in school. I paid $10,000 for an esthetician degree that I literally cheated my way through and worked my business on. Like, I literally paid $10,000 to sit in a chair and work my business at the end of the day when it came down to it. Like that's what it came down to, because I knew that wasn't going to be for me, because I was still working on someone else's life. So what I did is I got my degree and I was still working full time. So guess this is what I did. I would still have my morning routine. I would go to work from 7:30 till 3:30. You hear me talk about this all the time. And then in the evenings, I was in school Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, which I always like discredit myself and never share this, I was doing lashes. Saturdays, Sundays, I was booked with lash appointments all day. And I had a studio in my house that I used to do them out of, and everything. And if you go back to my stories on my Instagram, you'll see stuff on there from 2016 or 2018 and see all the lash extensions that I did and all the things. So when I worked a crazy freaking schedule and I still made this happen, some of you guys are like doing all the other things and then getting mad because your business isn't growing. Or some of you are just posting your steps and your stories and like, oh, I did it. Okay, what else did you do? Some of you haven't even gone live. Some of you haven't even done an opportunity story before. Some of you haven't even asked to do an opportunity story with someone else. I'm saying these things not to make you feel bad. I'm saying these things to draw inspired action from you. Because when I'm saying these things, and this is where I want you to pay attention, because this is how you create leaders. You follow that tug that's in your heart. So whatever I'm saying that's making you be like, well, this would be a good idea. Well, what about if I did that, right? Because you guys are all having these things. And if you aren't, then you're not paying attention. Because you guys should all have something that's triggering something in your mind to be like creative with right now. Write it down. It doesn't need to be like me. You don't need to put content out like me. Like, you don't need to be anyone but you. So stop looking at my page. If I'm the person you're comparing to, or if you have a leader that you're comparing to, mute us during the season. Mute. I have all of you muted. All of you. I don't look at any Thrivers unless I remember to. But like, I really don't. And then I feel bad because I'm not engaging on all of your guys' stuff. But then at the end of the day, this is a business. I love all of you guys, and I will see all of you guys. I will hug on all of you guys, but we have a spot to do that. And if we're only engaging with each other, how are we going to get potentials? How are we going to get more eyeballs? The other thing is, where am I on time? Whoa, I went way over. I'm sorry. Make sure that all of your stuff is on public. I don't know why I need to tell that. Like, it's wrong word. This is where Lindsay used to be really helpful in my areas because I always say the wrong words. This is where you have to realize we're in a social media business, right? So if your stuff is private, how are eyeballs going to get on it? I feel like I have hair in my mouth. But for real, how are eyeballs going to get on it? If you're private on your pages and on your posts, that needs to change. And then I'm sure what's happening is, well, I have a crazy ex that I don't want someone seeing, or I don't want to post about my kids and everyone seeing about my kids. Then you tweak it around to still put content out and still have your public stuff out, but we're not putting all the things out there. I've talked about this before. Kristen Cavallari from the Laguna Hills. She does not show her kids, and she's a multiple $million like businesswoman and TV reality show and blah, blah, all the things, right? And if you don't know this, she does not post about her kids at all. She does like a side picture in the back or something, but she doesn't post about her kids. She doesn't show their faces at all. So if she can run a whatever multiple $million mogul empire on social media and on reality TV and all this whatever, then you can too. If you have a crazy whatever ever, then you need to cut that toxic circle and anyone that's in that circle and black. It's called black. Black is a great button, black. If you have family members that talk crap, unfollow. It's not hard. You make it harder. Like, I have a lot of family members that I've either unfollowed or I don't follow at all. And actually, all my family's muted on my accounts. I don't engage with my social media is not for family. It's not for like Facebook and let's chat with my family. No. My social media is literally business. That is it. So, and we're going to talk about this just because I have to say it, and then I'm done. What are you venting to? If you're venting and complaining and blaming and that you're going to your mom or your sisters or your brothers or your husband or your best friends, and all you're doing is complaining or gossiping or slandering or talking about your problems, talking about how expensive things are, talking about your bills, talking about all these things and complaining, look at your life. Does it reflect what you're saying? Because if one of my best friends come to me and try to like talk about someone else, I don't even acknowledge it. I don't give any attention to if someone else's name is ever brought up and they're like a friend of mine. Oh, I don't acknowledge it. There's times where I'll even get up if I'm at a table and go to the bathroom because I won't participate in things like that. I'll say what I think to your face, but I will never allow gossip or things around me. So that's another thing I want you to reflect on. What's your inner circle look like? Is your family member the people that you vent and toxic and like do the same patterns with? Are you taking advice from family members? Because if your family are not if your family is, if they have the future that you're trying to work towards, and they have the bank account, the credit score, and the future that reflect what you're trying to build, then by all means get advice from them. But if they don't have a life that reflects where you're wanting to go, do not take it, and I'm saying this with so much love and it's not about family, but don't take advice from the cheap seats. The cheap seats are people that are gossiping, slandering, comparing, stuck in negative credit scores, stuck in manipulating, stuck in the minimum, stuck in settling, stuck in gossiping, stuck in hustling. And I mean like the illegal hustling, stuck in all the things, right? So if that's where you're getting your circle from, you need to realize then you need to put boundaries up. And that's a hard thing to do, but it's the most rewarding thing to do. And it gets lonely, but this is why you have a community like this. Because my circle is like all of you and my husband. I cut my circle. Like if we have family events and it doesn't align with my heart and what brings me joy, I don't go to them. And I'm okay with that. And I'm sure people like my parents or whoever have something to say, but guess what? They're not living my life. It's not their vision. It's not their mindset. It's not their boundaries. It's not their future. And if I'm going to ever be in a room where my faith, my character, my integrity, my heart, my voice, the woman I am is ever in question or being talked about, I don't put myself in circumstances like that. So that's another thing that I think is something that needed to be said, because some of us, we vent to our moms, and maybe our moms are the people that are just as negative as we're trying to escape from. And there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe you need to have some different boundaries of the conversations you're talking about with them. Like my parents, I've all told them, like, do not call me in the morning until like the afternoon time or something like that, unless it's an emergency. Because if you're calling me first thing in the morning, I'm not going to answer because my cup needs to be filled before I have a conversation with any of my family. So, And I'm not here to be liked. So sometimes my family may not understand me, but it's not my job to understand, for them to understand me. It's my job to live a life that reflects God and that reflects my heart and that reflects my mind and that reflects my vision, because I'm standing in the gap for those family members that don't understand. Do you get what I'm saying? This is bigger than temporary situations. And this is bigger than business. This is like literally the trajectory of your future and the generations to come after you. Because I think we get caught up on we're building a business just to build a business. This isn't just a business. This business, my son will never have to work if he wanted to. He would know about investments before he knows about struggle. And it took work, and it took mindset, and it took leading with love and like growth and perseverance. My grandchildren, same thing. My future great grandchildren, same thing. And I want the same thing for you. Break generational curses, provide generational wealth, live a life that reflects the woman that you are, because God already made you worthy. He made you called. He made you capable. He made you equipped exactly where you are right now. You don't need to do anything extra or different. You just need to show up with intention and mindset. If you can get anything out of this training tonight, is to lead with love, service, and grace and growth. Stop focusing on all the control of things. Let go of the control. Because the moment you stop chasing the butterfly, I promise it will show up on your shoulder. And if you know my analogies, you know I say that one a lot. So I love you guys. Thank you for letting me kind of pour into you guys tonight. I just wanted to speak from my heart. I know it was kind of all over the place, but I hope you guys helped set up your week, get clear this week, get focused this week. We have 1 week till Thrive-A-Palooza. Who's going to Thrive? Let me